long before cinema, long before television, long before the printed novel became commonplace. There was poetry. Stories traveled not through screens, but through voices. They crossed deserts with merchants. They passed from teacher to student, from poet to listener, from one generation to the next. Among these stories, few became as beloved as Layla and Majnun. The tale emerged within the oral traditions of Arabia. At its heart stood a young man named Qais, a gifted poet, sensitive, passionate, and hopelessly in love. The object of his affection was Layla, a young woman whose beauty was matched only by her intelligence and grace. Okay? Their love began innocently, two young souls discovering one another, yet the world around them would not allow their union. Family expectations, social conventions, tribal honor, each became a barrier between them. As Layla was taken further from his reach, Qais became consumed by longing. His poems grew more intense, his thoughts more distant, his attachment more absolute. People no longer called him Qais. Instead, they gave him a new name, MAJNUN, the madman, the possessed, the one driven beyond reason. But madness in this story is not merely illness. It becomes transformation. The deeper Majnun falls into longing, the further he moves from ordinary life. He abandons society. He wanders the wilderness. He speaks to animals. He sleeps beneath the stars. The desert itself becomes his companion, and his suffering becomes his path. Centuries later, the story would find its most famous literary form. A Persian poet named Nizami Ganjavi transformed the legend into a masterpiece of world literature. His version elevated the tale beyond romance. Layla and Majnun became a meditation on love itself, human love, spiritual love, the desire that draws one soul toward another, and perhaps toward something greater. The story continued its journey across languages and empires. Poets, scholars, and storytellers embraced it. Each generation discovered something new within its pages. For some, it was tragedy. For others, devotion. For others still, a mystical allegory describing humanity's search for the divine. Among the many voices inspired by the legend was the great poet Fuzuli. His interpretation would become one of the crowning achievements of Turkish literature. Through his words, Layla and Majnun found a permanent home within the cultural memory of an entire civilization. Today, centuries later, the names Layla and Majnun remain instantly recognizable across vast regions of the world. Yet many people have never experienced the story in its original depth, its deserts, its poetry, its spiritual dimension, its haunting beauty. And that raises an intriguing question. If Layla and Majnun were adapted into a modern cinematic experience, or what elements should remain unchanged? What should be reimagined? And how can a story born in the age of poetry speak to audiences in the age of film? In the next chapter, we explore why Layla and Majnun still matters today, and why this ancient tale may be more relevant than ever.